Hi, this is Mike at Design Point Solutions, and I want to go over the problem capture functionality within the SolidWorks RX tool. Now, the time that you would use this would be if you're having a problem in SolidWorks and you want to be able to document it in order to show it easily to your VAR to help diagnose the problem and help you troubleshoot it. So let's start from the beginning here, and I'm going to go ahead and close the SolidWorks RX tool. And maybe I've just got my model open here where I'm having my problem. So we'll start out by opening the SolidWorks RX tool, go down to our Start menu, Programs, go into SolidWorks, and it's in the SolidWorks Tools folder. And we'll open the SolidWorks RX. Now we've got a number of other things we can do with the RX tool, but we're going to focus on this Problem Capture tab. And we can see it's just 3 steps, and each one has a status. Currently they're all not done, and we'll start out with step 1 by pressing record video. Now when we do that, we can either use a current session of SolidWorks or we can start up SolidWorks if we don't already have it open. Since I'm already there, I'm going to go ahead and say use current session, and it's going to pop this message up asking me to start the recording. Now when you create the recording, the person who watches it will be able to see this box, so it's a good idea to push this off to the side just to be sure that they're able to see everything that you want to show them. So we'll start the recording, and at this point you can go ahead and reproduce whatever the problem is. So maybe I want to start a sketch here, and we'll just create a quick extruded boss, and maybe that's where my problem is. So once I've been able to show the issue, and it's a good note too when you're going through there, I went kind of quickly, but you want to sort of be slow and deliberate so it's easy to follow the recording. Then you can come down here and say finish recording, and it's going to tell you that SolidWorks needs to shut down in order to finish the RX. So we'll say OK to that. And in this case, I'm not concerned about the document that I had open. I don't need to save any changes to that, so we'll say don't save. But we can see here that in step 1, we've got our green check mark signifying that we have finished step 1 successfully. So we're going to move on to step 2. And at this point, we can add more files. So the RX tool is automatically going to package up the file that I had open or any combination of files that I had open and was working with when I created the video. But if there's other files that are related that I want to attach, I can go ahead now and do that using this button. I'm going to use the package files now. And it's going to give it this long file name, and I'm just going to put this somewhere that I know where it's at. So I'm going to put it on my desktop. And at this point I have the option to click and look at the contents of that RX zip file that I've created. So we can see that, for instance, we've got the WMV file, the Windows media file of the video that we created. We also have lots of other information in here that the SolidWorks RX tool goes out and collects for us. For instance, the SolidWorks Performance Log is something that your VAR will be able to take a look at and help diagnose what might be causing the problem. Also, if you're not sure where you saved it, you can click here to browse to the location. So we can see that I've got it on my desktop, and here's the file right here. At this point, we'll go ahead and continue to step 3. And we can see that now step 1 and step 2 are both completed successfully. So you just want to keep an eye on that as you're finishing out a step to make sure you got that green check mark that everything came through okay. All right, so for step 3, we're going to describe the problem. We'll hit continue. And here we've just got a bunch of information that we need to fill out. And if you've done one of these before, it might retain some information like it did for me here. But we're just going to go through and fill out some additional information. Okay, so here we've gone ahead and filled out the information, and you just want to be brief in the summary here, but put as much detail as you can into the description to make it as easy as possible for your VAR to reproduce the problem. And this is something that will also quite likely be looked at by a SolidWorks technician if your VAR is not able to figure out the problem. So you want to be very specific just so that as it gets passed along that the information is easily retained. So once you have that filled out, we'll go ahead and say OK. And we get a message that our problem capture is complete. And at this point, we can go ahead and exit the SolidWorks RX tool. Once you've finished it out, you ought to be able to browse out to the location that you saved it in and open it up and see the contents of that RX. And you can see as I hover over this, that's about 2.5 megs, so this can become rather large. You want to take a look at it and know how large it is to see whether you're able to email it or perhaps your VAR has a FTP site that you can upload it to instead. Hopefully that's helped you out in getting a jump start on troubleshooting some of your problems with your VAR using the SolidWorks RX tool and specifically the problem capture functionality.